Gatekeeping has been at the forefront of the Souls genre since its inception. What if I were to tell you that you'll be judged on how you approach your boss, what weapon you used, what level you are, if you summoned or not, and how many tries it took you? Not only will you be judged, but you'll be perceived as playing the game wrong depending on the outcome. You didn't earn that kill, you didn't experience this in a way I deemed satisfactory, because when I did it, I was the right level and I didn't use overpowered things, I didn't summon. Okay, stop. What is gatekeeping? By definition, gatekeeping is the activity of trying to control who gets particular resources, power, or opportunities. In the gaming sphere, it's more so people talking down to others who do something in a certain way. It's been making its rounds in Elden Ring as the game has hit a wider audience, so more people have been exposed to this genre. A genre known and marketed for its difficulty, and with that comes elitism. If you're ever wondering if the Souls games like to flaunt how difficult they are, they literally had Dark Souls 1 Prepare to Die edition, where the trailer said prepare to die over and over. If that's not saying difficulty is a priority for our marketing, then I don't know what is. So these games are difficult. You could say they take a certain caliber of gamer to beat them, but do you know what's great about these games? Yes, they're difficult, but they're also accessible, believe it or not. Through online co-op, these games allow someone who's, let's say, not as capable to go through the game and beat it. And with accessories like the adaptive Xbox controller, games are getting more and more accessible every day, which is great. Everyone should be able to play. But that's not the argument. We're not here to berate people for playing Elden Ring, we're here to berate people on how they play Elden Ring. But difficulty does come under accessibility, and it works on both ends of the spectrum. And we've had this talk time and time again. We mentioned whether you like it or not, difficulty is a core factor in this series, and a topic that gets raised all the time is where is the difficulty options? Why can't I go through the game on easy? Are those who defend the game's difficulty gatekeeping those who find the game too hard? In a sense, yes they are, and this is a form of gatekeeping, but I'm going to justify this particular gatekeep as it coincides with the game's director's vision. Miyazaki-san at Elden Ring's release said that the challenge of these games is a part of the studio's identity. He wants players to experience the joy that comes from overcoming hardship. This is an integral part of the game's design, and you are playing the way From Software wants you to play. And that's the experience I want because this game is for me and the thousands of others that share that mindset. So, difficulty sliders aren't necessarily welcome in this series. In other games, sure, but I want to play their vision, and that's exactly what I got. I got that feeling of overcoming a challenge. But even with that said, there's systems in Souls games that completely trivialize it. There's methods in which you can choose to do that make the game very easy. There isn't a standard difficulty slider, but systems like summoning and spirit ashes act as a pseudo difficulty option. But we're talking about actions in game that are deemed unsatisfactory to some players. In Souls games, there's almost like a tier list. I'm going to call it the elitism tier. At the top of the list, you beat the game with no summons, no guides, completely blind with a weapon that's not overpowered. This is what's referred to as the true Souls experience. And then under that, you have beat the game, but you used a guide, not the full experience, but you're nearly there. And then under that, there's 30 different other ways you can play the game. And at the bottom of the list, you beat the game, but unfortunately you did use summons or you used spirit ashes. Oh, and that one time you used a weapon that I and the collective community deemed overpowered. And oh, also you looked at where to go on a guide, so I'm sorry you technically didn't beat it. Go try again. But what situation correlates with gatekeeping? It's failure. To truly experience Dark Souls, Elden Ring, Bloodborne, or Sekiro, you need to fail over and over again. You need to be a failure until you've earned the right to overcome that challenge. You can't beat it straight away. You'd be doing the game a disservice if you beat it straight away. Right? If you haven't invested as much time into this encounter as I did, if you didn't fail as many times as I did, then you obviously took the easy route and therefore played the game incorrectly. So, failure plus time equals gatekeeping justification. But summoning, being the king of all gatekeepers' arguments, do they hold any merit? Well, Yes and no. Summoning a buddy to help you kill a boss does make it substantially easier, and I truly believe you don't get to experience the boss encounter in its purest form. You don't get to experience the mechanics of the boss or learn dodge patterns in a way you could if you were to take it on by yourself. But maybe they don't care. Everything is more fun with friends, and what I deem fun might seem completely foreign to someone else. The first time I encountered Moog, I beat him within 20 seconds. I beat Melania on my third attempt at level 130. I was winning. I wasn't experiencing failure, and thus I placed this arbitrary hindrance on myself towards the end of the game by using weapons that were leagues below what I was using prior. But why? What was so bad about succeeding, and why did I feel so guilty about it? There's a fine line in Souls games when you're attempting it solo. After a certain amount of tries, your will to continue rapidly deteriorates. The more frustrated you get, the less fun you'll have, and the more enticing that summon get out of jail for free card becomes. But I didn't. Was my experience with certain sections of the game soured by the fact that I was struggling, and it took me a long time to beat it, which led to me getting frustrated? Elden Ring is a stunning game, but there's times I fucking hated it. Because at the end of the day, just like other Souls games, I knew if you summon, use spirit ashes, overpowered weapons, look up items and places, I would deem it as it affecting my experience in a negative light. I set those parameters on myself. I'm not better because of it. In fact, if I'm being honest, I'm quite bad at this game compared to Dark Souls 3, and I'm not going to impose the defining rules in which I set on myself onto somebody else. I think collectively, some people need to take a step off their high horse and just appreciate that some people just want to play this game for fun, and we all have our own ways of doing that. These things are in the game. They are put in the game to use, and that's one of the many beauties of these games. It's the fact that we have options. So if you're going through the game solo, failing and learning from your experiences, getting frustrated with boss encounters, but finally overcoming that challenge, that's awesome, and I'm right there with you. But don't punch down, don't belittle someone for playing in a different way. Because at the end of the day, we're all Souls fans. And honestly, who gives a shit?